Oh, you ready?
You're on.
Awesome. My name is Lucas with a K, Dush. You can follow me on ArtStation, LinkedIn, or you can just straight email me at artforsmiles13@gmail.com. But why would you message me at all? Well, a couple of reasons. I am an animator, which kind of means I work with character bones and joints and specifically tell the computer how to animate characters and models and things like that. I'm a physics-based animator, which means I create a scene, tell the computer a little bit of a specifics, and then just kind of let the program go, such as a sandstorm, wind, anything like that. I'm a special effects artist, which kind of think of Photoshop, but for video, just doing little tweaks there with a whole bunch of photos at once. And I'm a writer. I'm currently taking a minor in creative writing, and a lot of the scripts, a lot of the shorts that you will see later on, I have written myself. I'm a UI designer. I have tons of experience in that, and most of the games that I've worked on tend to have been the UI designer creating the menus and whatnot. And like to think of myself as a pretty decent texture artist. A lot of these textures are photo based, but I like to work more with procedural, and I'll explain more on that later on in the presentation. So where do I get my inspiration from? A big chunk of my inspiration comes from this one artist called Bruce Timm. He is a comic book artist that later started to work on TV shows that became so popular it became known as the Timverse. And one of the reasons why I like him so much is not because he has his own Timverse, but because the style of his characters and the way he portrays the characters are so fundamental that I feel they should be emulated more often. So you can see with a couple of his works, they're very realistic, but they're also very stylized. So it has potential for both a casual tone and a very relaxed tone or serious, or kind of whatever it needs. And for his writing, he always makes sure that each and every character gets in the spotlight and shows like their true, like their greatest strengths. Not all of them get it all the time, but one episode, one character may be good, and the next, not so much. But at some point, every single character is in the limelight and is shown to be awesome. And I try to emulate that in my own works. So what are my own works? So with animation, before college, I found this program called DAZ 3D, and it was kind of a animation for dummies, very basic animation program when I found it. And since then, found it was to be an enjoyable hobby and career. And these are my two best examples of animation of Bob's Attack and Cuddle Force. Bob's Attack is a small animation that I worked on with Samantha Moore and Karina Goodrick. Bob was designed by Samantha using Autodesk Character Creator, and we just worked with that into a small film. I worked on the first, third, and fourth scene of the film, and since then, since they've moved on to other works, I've taken upon myself to not only polish the works I did all those years ago, but also to fill in the pieces and create this animation you're about to see. There is no sound, there's just the animation. And so yeah, um, so if you're wanting more Bob, because that was just a small little small little portion of it, I am in the middle of creating more of it. I'm planning on finishing the entire short in the next 3 to 5 months, depending on how everything works out. So one of the things I like to focus on is the backgrounds, and that took a considerable amount of time. I use these things called nodes, which are just very basic, simple computer operations in physical form. I'm going to use my mouse here. You can see that little block, that's a node. This little block, that's a node. And each of these little nodes has little pieces of information that tell the computer what to do. This gives the object color. This says where any what this one little piece of color is at any given moment. So each of these things combined create something that's, as you can see from the short. And nodes are starting to become industry standard for what I'm doing as this, and they're very interesting to learn. I've taken a lot of time studying and learning them. So the next animation I worked on was Cuddle Force. I had this idea many, many years ago, And I originally did this in stop motion animation. However, that medium didn't feel quite right, so I turned this into a 3D animation. I don't think this animation currently shows like my skill of model creation and animation. I really made this to show the kind of writing I would like to do. And you can see here, I worked on revising it a little bit just because it was a little not to my liking. And you can kind of see there's a sky improvement, body, sand, all these. And that's a little bit more of the textures I was talking about, just little slices of life. Um, so yeah, this is a small little scene.
Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you feel the smell of?
And so yeah, and so that's a small little demo of what I'm working. I'm still working on this project. I have an entire script written out, and this is still a passion project of mine that I'm going to be working on, and you're going to be able to see in the links I've given at the start, and I'll also reference them at the end as well. Um, so since I came to SAU, I've noticed I have a knack for leadership. It's not the kind that pushes my ideas or forces like, oh, hey, this is what the project should be. I've the kind of producer that lets each individual artist what they want come into fruition. I've been noted by both from both teachers, friends, peers, all alike to be very critical in these regards, but also very fair. Um, and that's just to help every artist have the work be what they want. I practice these skills almost daily as a writing consultant, and that is someone who reads a paper and makes sure what the writer has on the paper is what they mean. And so I kind of help uh, streamline their thoughts better. So Bon Voyage, me and a bunch of classmates worked on senior year, and I was the art lead where I delegated 14 different artists. The artists all worked on the sound, character modeling, environment modeling, UI design, particle, the whole 9 yards. And you can see a small little thing of that. You see the little particles. So yeah. And so yeah. So yeah, and so everyone did a whole bunch of really good work. Another part that helped me be learn some of the leadership roles was the game development club. Here, I was never officially elected as a leader, but a lot of the leaders openly said, "Hey, these are the meetings," and I volunteered my time. Sometimes they asked for advice. I gave advice, and I helped the club like any of the elected officials would, but out of my own free time. And this really helped me with leadership skills. And I definitely took the skills I learned from how they used to run the club and for each and every project that they did with me onto the senior project and everything else I've been doing. And the game development club, I've created games such as R&R, which is a horror survival game using resource management, Project Bird, which is a flight simulator, which is Delight, a 2D platformer, collectathon, Hearth, which is a house dating sim. And I will admit that I have lost a couple of files and a couple of games. And I say this not to say, oh no, I can't keep files, but because from freshman year till now, I really learned file management, and it was a very enriching and enlightening experience to see how far I've come with keeping files organized and together. And it's it was just amazing just how far I have come in that regard. And from an animator and leadership, that is one of the most crucial things to keep track of. And I definitely have learned that with all of these. Um, so yeah, so this is me. I would say my favorite hobby is to create enjoyable works on learning new software. I'm currently learning Unreal Engine, Houdini, and I'm still continuing to master DaVinci Resolute and Blender, all of which are industry staples for my field. And whether it's understanding animation, techniques, writing, or just in the production process, I feel all of these have shown I'm well on my way for that. So yeah, so don't forget to add me on ArtStation and LinkedIn for the Cuddle Force and Bob's Attack. And yeah, thank you very much.